Ladies and gentlemen, SuckItUpUSA.com presents Suck It Up MMA Live. No excuses, no quit. With your hosts, positioned firmly in front of the control board, and out of the red corner, Tom McManus! Across the desk, and out of the blue corner, Larry the Professor Sheely!
Well, our guest today is Danny Margoupis, who is a judo black belt, aikido black belt, and then a TKD
Taekwondo, yes sir,
black belt from
right.
Mountain Kim, Fredericksburg. He joins us here. Let's see if we can get him on the horn. Let me grab my number 3 mic, which somehow ended up on the floor, Mr. Professor.
There we go.
That's from the early show.
Was that
we had
the
a bunch of
Australian?
Here,
was that the Australian?
The Australian.
Yes.
Let's see if we got Danny on the horn. Danny, are you there? One more try. Danny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is. How you doing, Danny? Thanks for taking time to be with us here on MMA Live on the Suck It Up Radio Network, man. So we appreciate your time, first and foremost.
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, Danny. Good talking to you, man. It's been a while.
I know. It's been too long.
Yeah, man.
All right, Danny, so tell the audience this. What don't you have a black belt in? I mean, for crying out loud, man. You got it all.
A lot of stuff. Actually, I was going to let you know. I'll probably tell you in private, but we might be getting a world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor to teach at our school down here. It's not, the details aren't hashed out yet.
Okay, good.
I don't want to get too
good.
Too much information, but I'm pretty excited about that.
Good for you.
I talked to you about doing that, but I started doing martial arts when I was about 6 years old. I started with Taekwondo. And then just, slowly over the years, I got into judo and doing Hapkido, and I wrestled in high school, and, I've pretty much just been doing that my whole life.
What is, I've heard of Hapkido a bunch of different times, but what do you compare it to? What's the basis of it?
Are you familiar with Japanese Aikido?
Again, I've heard of it, but no, I'm not. I've taken Taekwondo and a little bit of Kung Fu, but no, not to that degree.
Okay, well, basically with Hapkido, so Hapkido means the way of combined force, and so pretty much what it is, it's how I use, my power and your power against you.
Okay.
So it's a lot of joint locks, pressure points, a lot of like wrist manipulation, that type of stuff. It's more like sometimes you'll see, like we have a lot of law enforcement that like to use it. They teach Aikido and Hapkido in prisons. One of my students actually works for one of the federal prisons, penitentiaries, and he was telling me a lot of the techniques that we use in Hapkido mirror what they actually teach there.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting, absolutely. You follow the MMA game today, Danny, and so many traditional arts are in mixed martial arts. How do you look at that and the way they all fit? And obviously these fighters today, they get more well-rounded as time goes on. But what are your thoughts on that? Mixed martial arts has taken over the world, and a lot of the traditional arts obviously being used to succeed in that industry.
Oh, absolutely. Like my theory. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. My stepfather was competed at an international level in judo. My stepfather, he's Korean, very, very high-level judo competitor. And I remember when I was a little kid, we were watching the first UFC. And obviously, Hoist Gracie was, doing jiu-jitsu. And I remember sitting there watching it. I'd been doing, Taekwondo, and I had no idea what grappling was. So I remember watching that first UFC and just not knowing what was going on. And so we asked my stepdad, we're like, what is this guy doing? And he was like, oh, he's doing judo. He's pretty good. We're all laughing about that. But, so my theory with martial arts in general is that, there's only so many ways you can strike somebody with your hand. There's only so many ways you can strike somebody with an elbow, with a foot, a knee. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything's already been invented. All we can do is make little variations and have to play within the rules of the game. Mm-hmm. That's why, with certain techniques in certain arts will come from variations in the rules. So, for instance, in what we spend a lot of time doing Taekwondo down here. In Taekwondo, one of the biggest flaws they have with the Olympic art is there's no punching to the face.
Oh, come on.
Exactly. So what that does, now these people that are sparring, they don't have to keep their hands up because they don't have to worry about, a straight jab coming and clocking them right in the nose. They don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right.
So the rules have changed the art. So when you have something like MMA where there's not a lot of rules, it's it's about as realistic as you can get. That's when you really start to see what techniques really work in combat. And so that, I'm really excited about the whole MMA craze because that sparked a lot of interest in our judo program and our judo program because more people are, interested in, number one, self-defense, but they love the fight aspect of it, they like the fitness. I mean, overall, it's a great thing. I'm really excited for it.
Danny Margoupis is our guest. He's out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, and has been training under Grandmaster Mountain Kim since 1992. So what's it like learning from one of the best? What's that like, Danny?
Well, I don't know if I had a chance to tell you this, but Grandmaster Mountain Kim is actually my stepfather.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so,
awesome.
I grew up with him. So,
Jeez, tough love has a whole new meaning.
That's
great.
Different ball game, and that he always kind of pushed hard work and working hard just all the time. He had to do something every day, and I remember being like a little kid, we would go to the school. Me and my older sister, we would go to the school at noon, and we would take the adult class. And then we'd hang out at school, help clean up, clean the mirrors. We'd go pass out flyers. Then we'd take the 4:30 class, the 5:30 class, 6:30 class, 7:30 class, and then we'd go home. That was a normal day growing up. So we're training 5 hours a day, 10 years old, doing that kind of stuff. That's how we grew up, and that was always kind of instilled in us. It was never, you need a rest. It was, hey, you want to be successful, you better work your ass off.
Very nice.
And, he always instilled that in us. I mean, when I know, Tom, you played for the Jaguars.
Yes.
When I was in high school, I played football and, I wanted to be good. And so, one thing he used to, tell me to do is, hey, before you go to school in the morning, you need to get up and you need to work out because everybody else, all your competition, they're sleeping.
Yep.
You wake up before them, and so that's what I used to do is before I'd go to school, my parents bought me that, I don't know if you remember, it's a Don Beebe, speed trainer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I used to get up before school. I started doing this in 7th grade, and I'd get up before school, and we had this really long driveway that goes uphill, and I'd wake up with my stepdad in the morning, and he'd go outside, he'd work out, jog, and, do his calisthenics. And I'd go down, I would do sprints up and down the driveway, every day before school.
Wow.
Yeah, so that, that was the attitude that was always kind of instilled in us when we were, growing up was that kind of stuff.
And that's the mental and emotional toughness that we all need to succeed in this lifetime, in my opinion. I know you're a big believer, you're one of the leading experts, Danny, in using martial arts to develop those mental skills. Expand on that a little bit. I think I know what you're saying, but to the audience out there, how does martial arts really help develop mental skills for people?
Well, I hear it a lot from particularly a lot of MMA people, but I always teach my students when you're training, and this is actually something Professor Lloyd Irvin, he always preaches. He always talks about when you hit a wall, that's when you start grinding. That's when you get better. Is when you hit that wall, you keep going. And that's something I always teach my students is whenever we're working out, whenever we're training, and there was always you have a good guy on one shoulder, you have a bad guy on the other shoulder, and the good guy's saying, oh, you had a long day today. It's okay. It's okay, you can stop, take a rest, you can go get water. Oh, you're going through a tough time. You got one guy on one shoulder saying that. Then you got the other guy on the other shoulder that's like, keep going, keep going, keep going. If you want to be a champion, keep going. No excuses, don't quit. And I tell them when we're practicing, you always have that conversation going in your mind. It's always going on. Oh, do I stop now? I can stop now. I deserve a rest. And I tell them, we have to shut that voice off, because if we want to get better, we have to push through our limitations. We have to get out of our comfort zone. So our goal every time you come to class is you got to get out of your comfort zone. It doesn't matter if you came to class and you didn't hit that wall, then you didn't work out hard enough today. And it's all these little things like traditional martial arts. We use a lot of board breaking and brick breaking, and even Tony Robbins, this famous motivational speaker, he uses board breaking in his seminars. And what I tell people, and I do this with all the new students coming in, what I tell them is, if you want to get your black belt, or so this is something we do with kids, but we say, if you want to get your black belt, or you want to break this board, or you want to be a doctor, you want to be a professional football player, it's all the same thing. And they look at us funny, like, oh, what is this guy talking about? We say, listen, the very first thing that you got to do, you need to decide you're going to do it. And we say, decision is the starting point for everything. So whether I want to get black belt, whether I want to break this board, whether I want to be a doctor or professional football, I have to decide that that's something that I want to do. I need to put that goal down. My very, very second thing, and we always go through this, we say, whatever you want to do, you have to believe 100% confidence that you can achieve that goal. So whether it's becoming the doctor or breaking the board, getting the black belt, you have to believe you can do it. And the third thing, and we always say this is the most important, is that 100%, you have to go 100% effort. Because if you go up to 90, 95%, you still fail. But if you're going 100%, the sky's the limit. And we preach into it, when you have that board in front of you, or you have that brick, it's a good tool, because if you hit that board or that brick and you only hit 90%, it's not going to break.
Right.
And instead, your hand's going to hurt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's how we relate it to the traditional martial arts, with the breaking these mental barriers and pushing through to reach our goals.
That's awesome, Danny. Hey, you mentioned the traditional martial arts again. Think about some of the fights recently. It's kind of probably does your heart good to see some of the like the teep kicks connecting, and a lot of the judo throws being executed. The game from when you first saw it with Hoist Gracie, we didn't really know what was going on, but it's evolved so much to where the stand-up game plays just as big or a bigger role these days than it's ever had in the past. You agree with that, Danny? And if so, kind of share your thoughts on what you're seeing traditionally in the cage these days.
Okay. Well, traditionally, I'll start with the Taekwondo background. We're seeing obviously you see a lot of Muay Thai style round kick. You don't see it very often. In Taekwondo, there's a spinning back hook kick. It's dangerous to do. It's probably not the smartest thing to do in the cage. But you do start to see that more. I'm starting to see
John Jones uses that a lot.
I'm sorry, what you said?
In John Jones, he uses that kick a lot, doesn't he?
I believe so.
I believe so too, man.
So,
yeah.
And what you're starting to see too is a lot of people going to when they're going for like high kicks to the face. Some people you start to see they're using that traditional kind of the straight line, turn the hips, snapping model, the snapping round kick, which is that's not I do not believe that's a traditional Muay Thai kick. That's more in the karate Taekwondo realm. So starting to see that more in the high kicks. In terms of the throwing, I believe, is it Ronda Rousey? Am I saying her name right?
Yes, Ronda Rousey.
Oh,
yes.
Man. Her, I forget who she was fighting a couple weeks ago, but her hip throw was beautiful.
Her judo is off the charts.
Is it really?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Wow. I'm surprised they don't use the crescent kick a little bit more. That's kind of disguise type kick, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, you see the front kick on occasion. You always see the roundhouse kick. But you would think the crescent kick. I always think of Billy Jack, that movie Billy Jack. I'm going to pull this side of my foot on that side of your face.
And there's nothing you can do
about it.
There's nothing
that you can do about it. Right, exactly. Well, I'm surprised that. Now, the spinning back fist, is that Taekwondo or karate?
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The spinning back fist that John Bones Jones has implemented. Is that a I remember learning that in Taekwondo, I think.
Oh yeah, spinning back fist.
Yeah.
Yeah, spinning back fist. Yeah, they do a lot in Taekwondo. Taekwondo, there's a couple different styles. There's the World Taekwondo Federation, and then they have, I believe it's AAU.
Yeah.
In AAU competition, you're actually allowed to do the spinning back fist to the head. So yeah, you see that in that kind of competition. So yeah, that I wouldn't say it's unique to the style, but you do learn that.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, in that, as you know, that cage, man, if you get caught spinning, you're in big trouble.
Oh yeah.
Especially if one leg is up.
Oh yeah, and that's why like I was saying earlier, with the rules of the game dictate what techniques work.
Right.
And that with the MMA rules, the spinning leaves you open. I mean, anytime you turn your back, you taking your eyes off your opponent, you leave yourself vulnerable. Plus,
right.
Anytime you spin, your body's off balance.
Mm-hmm.
And you never want to give anybody half a second, because once you do, you never know what's going to happen. You get caught in a bad position, it's over.
Yeah, get caught and end up on your ear, no question.
Yeah, absolutely. Master Danny Margoupis here with us on MMA Live on the Suck It Up Radio Network. All right, Danny, so you are an expert in a lot of different arts. I know I'm good friends with the professor here, Larry Sheely, who is a Gracie black belt in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know other people that are big time like yourself, black belts in Taekwondo and Karate and others. What for you? What is the best thing to know? Because the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys are like, yeah, just let me get you on the ground and you're screwed. The Taekwondo guys say, yeah, well, we don't have to go to the ground because we kick and punch. It is their mentality. I'm not bagging on either side, but as far as you're concerned, what's better to have in the repertoire if you're going to enter into MMA or just in general?
Well, I'd say, I guess to answer your question, I would say that both are equal parts, and you have to know both.
Okay.
I remember watching several years ago. I forget who was fighting, but they brought in this Muay Thai fighter, and he was ranked in the world. He's one of the top fighters, and he was fighting against I don't know who it was, but he wasn't he wasn't like a top fighter in a certain style. He was just more of a mixed martial artist, and they fought, and I believe the Muay Thai guy got submitted in the first round, and it wasn't because he wasn't an outstanding fighter. He was an outstanding fighter.
Right.
It was because he got put in a position where he didn't know how to escape.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say if you're a good striker, that's 33% of the game.
Right.
If you're a good grappler, that's 33% of the game. Then I'd say mental is 33% of the game. You have to have all three. So if I was...
what would you rather have first?
Oh, what would I rather have first?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think striking.
Okay.
And the reason being is because that's where the fight starts.
100% of the time.
Also, too, is anybody can get a lucky punch. You can get a lucky punch or a lucky kick, but as far as getting a lucky throw or a lucky submission, it doesn't happen.
Right.
You know what I would answer to this question, Danny?
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling. If I had only one thing, I would pick wrestling.
Yeah.
Or judo, some way to get that rascal who can punch me to the ground quick, and then, if need be, just control him. Yeah. But, again, I think they're all the right answers.
Yeah.
And just with a good mix of them all.
Right.
That's
and you make a great point. Everyone does start, in the striking. They try to strike each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a lot of sense there. I know you do a lot with young kids, Danny. I got to commend you for that because I'm a big proponent of that. I think martial arts is fantastic for children of all ages, for people of all ages. But getting those kids started young, man, you can do so much great wonder for them and give them the confidence that they need and the confidence it takes to make it through through this world, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, the kid, martial arts. I mean, honestly, I think they need to be teaching it in the public schools because it's just for kids.
That's not a bad idea. Get it funded by the schools.
That would be great.
I mean, but you know what? They're taking away PE.
taking away
It's too
everything,
hard
yep.
for them. Bunch of babies. We got to get we got to get them toughened up on the school boards, Danny. Maybe me and you and Professor Larry can go change them, get them straightened out. But I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. I mean, they need it now, especially with. I mean, we have a lot of bullying issues.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah,
do.
everywhere.
Here, I mean, all over the country, and we always say, the number one defense is confidence, because
Yep.
the bully's not going to pick on the confident kid.
You know, and the thing is, too, and I recently I heard this and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It's so true. The bully or the one being bullied have the same personality trait. They're both insecure. If you think about it, aren't they? They both are. Why is the bully bullying? He's insecure for a reason, right? And we know the kid getting bullied is insecure. He wouldn't be bullied. So I think we can heal both sides, and martial arts is a great way to heal both sides of the coin. No doubt.
Yeah,
All right.
no, actually, I had this one student. He's been here. I've had my school down here. It's almost 3 years.
Okay.
And so I had this one little boy. He was I think 6 or 7 years old, and getting bullied a lot, and really funny kid. Love having him in class, but he's having bully problems. And so his mom, probably like, I think 7 months into classes, she sends me this email. She's like, "You're not going to believe what happened at soccer practice." So apparently, this little boy, his name's Luke. This little boy him and his friends were getting bullied by somebody else on a soccer team. And so finally, he had the confidence to stand up to this kid. So the kid went over and was picking on his friends, and he went over there and was like, "Hey, leave us alone." And, they had a little thing, and then his mom said the next thing she knows, the other little boy's on the ground, and then he was crying, and then he ran off to his parents. And not that I condone fighting, but for that. But she said, the other little boy that was bullying him hasn't bothered them since.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
That
Absolutely.
was cool. That was like, wow. Like, this is, that's one of the best feelings is when you have somebody like that is dealing with that problem, and you help get him. I didn't make him. He got past that himself, but I empowered him to do that.
Yeah, sure.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah, just getting the confidence. We all need it. Mountain Kim Martial Arts, Fredericksburg, Virginia, and home of the 30-day free trial. How about this? Go to the site and get a free self-defense DVD and a free strength and fitness book by joining the email list. That's mtkimfredericksburg.com or call them at 540-752-0707 if you're in the Fredericksburg, Virginia area. Master Danny Margoupis, we really appreciate your time and being a part of MMA Live here for us on the Suck It Up Radio Network. Keep up the great work, and, man, we really look forward to having you on down the road.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good job, Danny. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff.
No doubt. There you go. Out the door he goes. I just love how,
tough love.
Tough love for you. Whole new meaning to tough love, man.
Tough love.
Jeez.
It's beautiful.
Gosh, I thought my father was tough. Can you imagine? But it's good. I'm telling you, though, that training's good for the kids, man. It's good for them. And you know what? Maybe we're big proponents of martial
big
arts.
time.
But, maybe it's something else for you. Maybe it is soccer.
Yep.
Maybe it's baseball. Maybe it's football. Maybe it's basketball. Maybe it's drama.
Something.
Maybe it's music.
That, like my
Find
son.
the passion.
My son found the guitar. Changed
I think
his
every
world.
kid, regardless of what you do, though, it'd be nice that I love that idea of getting it into the public schools.
Yeah.
Because it's all about, man,
You would think
we got
that
some
would be
people in the Duval County School Board. We could try it here.
Yeah,
in
well,
Jackson.
the thing is, they're doing away with wrestling programs. They're doing away
That's crap.
with it is.
No, right.
It
I know.
is something.
And they're doing away with PE. How do you do away with PE? You want these kids to be fat?
Yeah.
I mean, they eat enough sugar. They need something to wear it off.
Burn it off, man.
Right?
Yeah, you would think so, but
I don't know.
the first thing to go are the athletic budgets, which just
No, I know.
make it. That's
I really like this kid, man. He sounds like a kid.
he's a young fella.
Man, but it's so true. Getting that discipline, that confidence. We talk about it all the time. That's why it's such a good fit. He even said it. No excuses, no quit.
Yep.
Done.
We should, label that some way.
Maybe we should.
Golly.
This has been a production of SuckItUpUSA.com and EIGProductions.com. Heard exclusively on the Suck It Up Radio Network.